Oh boy, oh boy. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one. Here we go. WrestleMania 17. Um, yeah, a lot of people say this is one of the best WrestleManias of all time. Um, we'll get to my opinion a little bit later on. So, WrestleMania 17 comes to you live from the Astrodome, Houston Astrodome. The Houston Astrodome in Houston, Texas, the home of the former home of the Houston Astros and the former home of the Houston Oilers. Um, so yeah, let's get right down to the matches. All right, yeah, let's get right down to it. The Intercontinental title match started things off. We got William Regal against the champion Chris Jericho, and like always, Chris Jericho gets a pretty big pop. Uh, this match, in my opinion, is the perfect way to a perfect opener, a pretty good opener, um, with one of the most popular superstars in Chris Jericho in the day, and a great, unique competitor in William Regal. There you go. Very solid wrestling from both guys, and I like their psychology um, about Jericho's injured arm. Very great technical match to kick off the show. Jericho retains his Intercontinental title. Next up, we got a six-man tag team match featuring Taz and the APA, Bradshaw and Farouk with Jacqueline in their corner against the team of Right to Censor, which was the Good Father, Bull Buchanan, and the Good Father. Val Venus, Bull Buchanan, and the Good Father with Steven Richards in their corner. Um, the crowd was popping for pretty much everything. It was not bad for a 3-minute match, a standard six-man tag, but nowhere near as bad as you might think. Taz and the APA win this match. Now we get a triple threat hardcore championship match. We got Raven defending his hardcore title against Kane and the Big Show. This is not bad for a hardcore title match. It's pretty fun when you look at it with some memorable spots like Big Show going through the wall, Raven going through a glass window, the thing with the whole go kart. Um, but yeah, Kane wins when he um, dives off the stage and onto both Kane and Raven. So yeah, Kane wins the hardcore title. Next up, we get the European Championship match. Test defending his title against Eddie Guerrero with Perry Saturn and that ugly ass hat of his in Eddie Guerrero's corner. Um, when you when we when was the last time you saw Test get a big reaction from the crowd? Probably WrestleMania 17. It's a pretty solid match here. I mean, Test really worked well with Eddie. There was a number of exciting moments, but Eddie wins the title due to outside interference from Perry Saturn. Now we get the match everybody I knew back then was really looking forward to. Kurt Angle versus Chris Benoit. Um, it's not at the level of some of their matches later on, or yeah, later on they had some instant classic, but this one was pretty close to it. It's pure wrestling at its finest, and the mind games from Benoit were just great. Uh, with these two, you just knew you were getting something great, so sit back and enjoy. So but in the end, Angle wins by grabbing the tights for the roll up and 1, 2, 3. All right, now we get the women's title. China is going up against Ivory. Ivory's defending her women's title against China. Big pop for China. I really liked China back in these days. She was a great physical specimen, and she knew how to get the job done. And I'm not gonna lie, I hated Right to Censor back in these days, but I respected both women for their abilities. Ivory is Ivory, but as short as it is, it had sense of purpose to it. Um, they capped off their feud nicely, and while the match itself isn't that good, just the ramifications and the energy of the crowd make it rise above the occasion. So China wins the Women's Championship for the very first time. Yeah, she won the title for the very first time, because before then, she was the Intercontinental title. She won the Intercontinental title, but now she is the Women's Champion, which should have happened a lot longer, if you ask me. Okay, now we get a street fight with Mick Foley as a special guest referee. Vince McMahon versus Shane McMahon. Now, the backstory behind this is Shane McMahon purchased WCW from his father, under his father's wing, and they had a match to settle it. And a lot of WCW stars were up in the stands, so yeah, it's pretty cool to see some of the WCW stars up in the stands for WrestleMania, because you knew that WCW was ending, and yeah, the go home show for WrestleMania 17 was actually very good. But let's get right into the street fight. Pretty nice pop for Mick Foley. The match-wise, it was kind of iffy, but the drama involved, the storylines, and everything going on made it highly memorable for me. Trish Stratus, who was with Vince McMahon, made her infamous face turn by slapping the hell out of Vince, and then Stephanie and Trish had a catfight. Linda surprises Vince by getting out of her sedated state, coming out of the wheelchair or chair in the ring, rising up. The crowd goes absolutely nuts, and then kicks McMahon in Vince McMahon's infamous grapefruits to one of the biggest pops of the night. And then Shane wins with the coast-to-coast trash can to the face of Vince, and Shane gets the win. All right, now we got the TLC 2 for the Tag Team Championships. And just like WrestleMania and SummerSlam that year, it featured the same teams. Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, Bubba Ray and Devon, and the Hardy Boys, Matt and Jeff. Good pops for all three teams. Completely outdid their first TLC match in all aspects, and this is a classic. This is a classic in itself. So many classic moments, so many classic spots, hard to count. But my favorite is definitely the Edge spear to Jeff Hardy off the ladder when he was hanging on to the championships. That was pretty good. Lita, Edge. Let's see. Lita, Spike Dudley, and Rhino make memorable appearances as well. But Edge and Christian win the titles for the second year in a row, thanks to help from Rhino. When Rhino puts Christian on his shoulders, Christian reaches for the title, and he gets the championships once again. And once again, Edge and Christian win the ladder match. And once again, I'm disappointed that my team, the Dudley Boys, didn't win once again. All right, now we get to the Gimmick Battle Royal. The wrestlers in the Gimmick Battle Royal were the Repo Man, the Gobbledygooker, Tugboat, Earthquake, Kimchi, the Bushwhackers, Luke and Butch. Jim Cornette, for some reason, was in there. Duke the Dumpster Droese, the Goon, Nikolai Volkov, Doink the Clown, Michael P.S. Hayes, One Man Gang, Kamala, Brother Love, Sergeant Slaughter, Hillbilly Jim, and Sheiky Baby, the Iron Sheik. And the commentators on this match were Bobby the Brain Heenan and Mean Gene Okerlund, and they made their WWE returns to pretty big pops. This match was actually quite fun, pretty short and sweet. It was good to see the old guys once again. It was fun while it lasted. Besides, and Heenan still pretty much had it. Heenan was gold on commentary. But the winner of the Battle Royal was the great legend, the living legend, Iron Sheik, baby. That's right. Iron Sheik wins the match. Wins the Gimmick Battle Royal. Now we get to The Undertaker versus Triple H 1. The very first time they fought each other at WrestleMania. Is this a wrestling classic? No. No, it's not. Is this an exciting brawl? Oh, you betcha. You betcha it is. These two go all out. Even through the scaffolding area where Undertaker choke slams Triple H off of it. A match, I believe, could have gone either way. But in the end, the Undertaker's streak remains undefeated. Now we get to the main event. Oh, man. We get to the main event of the night for the World Wrestling Federation Championship. The Rock defending against Stone Cold Steve Austin. Austin gets the biggest pop of the night, one of the biggest pops I've ever heard, because they were in Texas, they were in Houston, a few miles away from Victoria, where Austin grew up. And The Rock's pop is no slouch itself, but it's nowhere near like Austin's. It was pretty much mixed. This is the second of their third encounters. And in my opinion, it's not as good as 15, and it's not as good as 19. That's for damn sure. Yeah, this match was pretty good back and forth. Yeah, very good back and forth. I've ever really seen a match filled with so much tension, excitement, and unpredictability. I felt a little betrayed on the inside at the end when Austin stunned or turned heel and sided with the devil, as JR liked to call it. Yeah, I was not a big fan of Austin turning heel. Austin himself said that he was not a big fan of turning heel, especially at WrestleMania. Yeah, so I felt betrayed that Austin sold his soul and I was tempted to turn my back on him, and it really hit me hard, but I didn't know any better back then. I still don't agree with it, but it sure made for a classic moment, that's for sure. But Austin wins the title, and I don't think fans realize. I didn't think the fans in the crowd realized that he turned heel. Yeah, it was just a sloppy finish. I was not a big fan of Austin turning heel. Yeah, not a big fan of it. But overall, WrestleMania X-Seven, 17, a lot of people consider it one of the best. In my opinion, I think it's just a little bit, just a tad bit overrated. That's right, I said it. WrestleMania 17, in my opinion, is overrated. But this is where what wrestling is all about. This was WWE's golden era, and unfortunately, Vince hasn't been able to recreate any of this success since then. Yeah, if you haven't seen this WrestleMania, where on earth have you been? You're probably living under a rock. I respect opinions of all kinds. Yeah, I respect opinions of all kinds, especially you guys. But I thought this match was very overrated. Or Miss WrestleMania was very overrated. But still, I definitely agree it was one of the best WrestleManias of all time. Just a tad bit overrated. Out of 10, I'm going to rate WrestleMania. Let's go WrestleMania X-Seven, 17. Let's go with a 9 out of 10. Favorite match on the card for me was the TLC 2, and my least favorite match was probably the 6-man tag with Taz and APA against Right to Censor. All right, that's WrestleMania 17 for you. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Coming up next, WrestleMania X8 or WrestleMania 18.